busting my balls, Billy, okay?
I can already tell that I don't like you.
Fuck you, bust on my ball.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
It might be your first ball job.
Yeah, of course.
How long did it take for the guy to come?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bustin' Balls. I'm your host, Eric Pennell. Guys, I was looking through, I'm an 80s kid, you know, I was raised in the 80s, and I was looking through my old pictures, and I'm pretty sure that 80s parents did not give a hell about their kids just by, like, their haircuts. You ever look at, like, your haircut when you were, like, a little kid? And I know there's people out there going, my haircut was right. Yeah, I'd like to see that picture, because every picture I look back in the 80s and I look at the hair, and that I was walking around with, it was like I was like a kid that nobody like an orphan or something like that. Like what like who was making the decisions on the haircut? First of all, you're talking to a guy right now that had a mullet for sure. I white guy in the Midwest had a mullet, but I had a mullet that I would perm in the back. You know what I'm saying? I'd perm it in the back. For real, I'd go out to my Aunt Sandy's house out in Brimfield, Ohio. That's kind of out in the country. And she was like a beautician, and she'd give me like the worst haircut ever, and then it was a mullet, and then somehow, I don't know if it was my idea or their idea, where they go, hey, let's perm it in the back. So it was kind of like poofy. It wasn't like, I don't know why, who allowed that? Who allowed me to get a mullet with a perm in the back? They had to get the stinky stuff out. They had to put I don't know what they did. I mean, and then I walked around like that, you know, with parachute pants on. Who was Yeah, me as a little kid, that's what I it wasn't cool. Walking around with probably a straight across haircut, a mullet with perm in the back. I know I had maroon parachute pants, and probably like a t-shirt with like colors across it right here, trying to break dance. I was you want to talk about hot mess? That's a hot mess, okay? You know, the kids nowadays, they walk around like they have a stylist. Like, you know, they're on Instagram. They see what's the goods. We didn't have Instagram. You just see whatever. My mom was taking me to Kmart, and we're getting blue light specials and stuff. And I'm getting lost, and I'm coming up to the counter crying and shit, you know? That's it. But nowadays, kids, they don't have that option. I guarantee you there's kids out there. Well, first of all, there's kids that are just getting like clothes. They're ordered them online, and they just get delivered to their house. They open up a box. They're doing online shopping like a little king and queen. And we're getting Kmart, Zayre's, Gold Circle, freaking clothes. You know, that's what we were getting. Mismatch. Dude, I had patches on my pants. How many kids are walking around with patches on their jeans? Remember that? I don't even know if they sell those anymore. Remember that? You could buy like a patch, right? And it was an iron-on. I'm sure they still have it, like in the welfare section of freaking Hobby Lobby right now that nobody goes down. It's freaking, the floor's dusty in that section, I'm sure. But they would literally have iron-on, like denim, that you would iron either on the back, I think inside the jean. But then sometimes you'd see kids with it on the outside for some reason. You go, what? And it was never the same color. I mean, it would look like it was matching up, but you wash it once or twice, and it just looks like a pair of jeans with a hole in it, and that has a poor person patch behind it. And kids definitely, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, every podcast I talk about how good we have it in the world, in America, and, you know, not saying that that's even something to boo-hoo about. I mean, it gave me character, and it gave us character to have clothes with patches on them and be a mismatch and wearing tight parachute pants. And Fat Boys. Remember Fat Boys? Those were ridiculous too, where they're like the fat freaking shoestrings. Those weren't bad. I mean, I'm sure Fat Boys are still around, right? People are still putting those in. They had different colors. That wasn't terrible, you know, but I was a mess. You can't have a mullet with a freaking perm in it. That's ridiculous. I look like Kenny Powers, but age 7, you know, it was ridiculous. And then when I got into skateboarding, I had the worst haircut ever. And my mom took me to Olin Mills to get a picture taken. That's like a popular place we would go to get like your pictures taken. And I had like a skater cut where it went down over my eye like here, and then I sun-inned. Remember sun-in? Sun-in has ruined so many people's plans on their haircut. When you were a kid, you could get that stuff called sun-in. And you'd go out there, it'd be like summertime, and you go, I'm going to squirt a couple little sun-ins in my hair and squirt it out there. Next thing you know, Next thing you know, you go out in the sun for like the afternoon. You come back to the house. You look like you're trying to hide from the FBI, like you're on the run or something like that. That you just changed your hair color in a gas station bathroom. Your mom or your parents or your brothers and sisters are making fun of you because it's not like you have any control of it. You're just like, and however it hits your head, that's how it turns. And it never was like blonde for most people. It was like orange. It was like a bad color. I don't even know if they got sun in. Do you think they got sun in anymore? It was a mess, dude. Yeah, so I had a skater cut. It went over my eye like this, like I was listening to like freaking new wave music, and I didn't listen to new wave music. I was into BMX bikes and skateboarded, and then I put a little sun in on the end there. And I was just doing it for like a summer haircut, right? It was shaved on the back, straight up 80s bullshit haircuts, And my mom somehow thought that was a good idea at that time to get pictures for some reason. I'm like 13, and we go to Olin Mills, so I got a picture that's like the biggest picture ever. It's like the size of the Mona Lisa. I heard the Mona Lisa's not that big, but I'm sure it's bigger, about the size of that, maybe a little bit bigger. That's hanging up on my fucking mom's wall right now of me in a black sweater. It's the worst picture ever. I mean, when you see like worst pictures ever where people are like hiding that picture, that's the picture. That's the picture. Anyways, going down memory road. It's always good to reminisce. It's you know what you don't get anymore either. I was thinking about, you don't get pictures with red eyes. Where did that go? What was that red eye picture thing? I remember there was a picture of me, and this is still true. My mom still has it. That there was a picture of me when I was a little kid. I was probably 3 or 4, and they took a picture of me outside. It had red eyes. And at night, I went downstairs. What kind of weird shit is this? I went downstairs while everybody's sleeping and stuff in the house, found that picture, and then I scraped out the eyes. Like I like took a pen and was like, scraped out the red eyes. I mean, what is that about? I don't even know what that's even, like what thinking is behind that. And somebody's listening to this and they go, oh, that's totally negative, this thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I'm the bad guy. I didn't like red eyes as a kid. But you never see red eyes no more. That's another thing. Kids are getting the nicest clothes. They got the best option. They got all the past to look at and go, yeah, that was all garbage. That was pretty cool. I'm going to wear that, but that's all garbage. They got that. And they also don't have horrible photos. Like, dude, that Olin Mills picture of me with the hair like this, if they would have ever showed it to me like on like a digital camera, which I'm pretty sure they didn't have digital cameras in like 1985 at the place I was getting haircuts at or pictures at. If they would have showed me that picture, I would have definitely go, no. But they don't give you that option. You just go and pick it up with your mom, and then she shows you and goes, how cute are these? And you look at it, you go, oh my God, do not ever show that to my friends. Do not ever show that to my friends, please. I will get roasted forever. But that's what it is, Oh, so great, It's so great. Another thing I was thinking about, and this is like common knowledge for some people, there was a time where my mom could send me down to the 7-Eleven that was like 4 or 5 blocks down the road, right, in a street over, and 2 streets over. So that's where I'm at. I'm like fucking 8 years old, 9 years old, walking it's 3 streets over, 3 blocks down to the 7-Eleven. And I'm handing literally Mo, because his name was Mohammed, we called him Mo, handing him a note from my mom that she sent before in the past that literally said, can you give my son some cigarettes and this and some whatever? And I literally was like a little kid buying that and then going home with it and giving her, and they would do that. There's no way. I mean, clearly they can't do that now because they got the whole law thing, right? Where it's like they get a card under 21 or whatever the age is in most states, or 18, But in those days they did that. My Uncle Jim, when he was younger, he's probably like 12. My mom would have, and she was older, she was probably like 18 or something like that, maybe, like 18. She would have my Uncle Jim light cigarettes. This is how white trash I am. My mom, when they were teenagers, would have my Uncle Jim go to the kitchen and light cigarettes off the stove, and then bring them to her lazy ass while she's on the couch. What, are you kidding me? That's how he became a chain smoker until this day. He's fucking 9 years old, lighting Cool Kings off the freaking stove and running them 20 feet as he's getting a puff to get it started. This is the world I'm in, and this is how it's carried over to my life as of today. Yeah, but whatever, man. I just I'm going down memory road because I watched a movie yesterday that I haven't seen in probably 30 years. I watched the movie RAD. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie, but when I was a kid, since I was into like BMX bikes, I loved the movie RAD. Okay, and I just liked it because of the bikes and stuff like that. And now I just watched it yesterday, and I realized, oh my god, this storyline is horrible. They put no money in the storyline. They put money in the actors. They had the old guy from My Favorite Martian that was, I think that's the name of that show. That guy that was a famous actor was in it. The old chubby guy that was in Dirty Dancing that ran the resort that was like, we need to get sheet music on this at the end. He was in it. Lori, what's her name? Lori Law. What's the chick that went to jail for or got in trouble because her daughter, they paid to get her daughter in there and they're doing fake kayaking pictures or whatever the hell she was. She was in it. Man, she was hot then, man. I tell you what, everybody knows her as Uncle Jesse's from whatever that show was with the twins, the Olsen twins. But man, when she was in RAD, she was a couple years younger, and whoosh, for a brunette, she was extra smoking hot. And she played in that. And then, you watch this movie, and it's not really good at all. I watched it for nostalgia. I fast forward through some parts, not a lot. But, they had that famous, do you believe in heaven and whatever that song is, do you believe in love? That song where they're dancing on bikes and she's like, doing something with their arms and like, it's, who wrote that into it? And they go, man, why are we doing this? Like, I don't know how they thought. And another thing about that movie, RAD, I won't talk about it long because nobody knows what this movie is for the most part. But you could tell it was definitely, they must have either paid for the movie and it was their idea or they put a lot of sponsorship in it. But Mongoose bicycles, because that's what, whatever. They were heavy in that movie. Like all those bikes had a Mongoose plate on the front of it. Because at first I was like, what kind of bikes are these? And I seen that Mongoose like front plate that they have there on the frame. And I go, yep, I remember that. And then Redline bikes were big in that movie. And it was cool though that they featured like GT. They featured Powerlight, which was a great bike. GTs were a great bike. I had a GT Pro Series XL. That was my last bike. That was an excellent bike. Power lights, dyno. There's a lot of dyno gear. It's funny to see little logos like they had Amy, like AM, whatever E, and there's a bunch of products I haven't seen in years. But so that was kind of cool to see, and it was also cool to watch in that movie how they were doing like freestyle, like they were doing endos and bouncing on the tires and spinning their bike around. Like then that was the coolest thing. But now you see what they're doing on like X Games and you go, that's like what like slow kids do on bikes or something now or something. And that's disrespectful. But you know what I'm saying? Like but again, they had to do that to get to what they're doing in X game stuff right now. But at the time, that was like some cool stuff. So it was nice going down that road. They put no money into this script. I wish. Well, what are they going to do? I seen the budget was $3 million, and then the box office made $2 million, and which was really surprising. I mean, dude, I was big into BMX bikes in the 80s, and I don't know if everybody was. I know my neighborhood of friends were. Those are the years when scooters came around too. Remember the push scooters? Those they looked like bicycle handlebars, and had little bike tires on them that were probably maybe like a 10-inch tire, maybe an 8-inch, about an 8 to 10-inch tire on them. And we used to ride the hell out of those, but we rode the shit out of BMX bikes. My first great BMX bike, my first bike was a hoopty. And then my first BMX bike that I really loved was it was a Freestyle Hutch. And it was white. It had pink decals on it. Dude, I looked up that bike right now. I remember that bike in like 1985, 1986 when I got that bike was, I think that was a $550 bike in 1985, 1986. I looked it up on Facebook Marketplace to see what bikes were on there, like BMX vintage bikes. There's one out here in the Chicago suburbs that somebody's selling that same hutch, same color, same everything, beat the hell, and it's $1,500. Like, dude, have you ever looked up like some of the things that you were into when you were a kid and see how much they are? Try looking up like a Snake Eyes, the original Snake Eyes for G.I. Joe toys, and see how much those things are, if you can find them, and if they're actually original, you know, and not like a replica or like some bullshit phony stuff. But dude, bikes are expensive. All those 80s bikes that I was into, dude. Like I said, I had a beautiful GT Pro Series XL. It was 1987 bike, and I looked that up. You find those, they're all about $3,500. Although that was a $700 bike in 1986, 87, I think, when I bought it. But now they want $3,500 because they know guys like me and people that are listening, they get nostalgic on shit and they want that. And now you're an adult and you probably have money to spend. You got stimulus checks coming in and they know people are going to snipe that, you know, but not me. I ain't doing that. I mean, if it came cheaper, I mean, you know, it's funny though, but you know, sometimes I see stuff on there where I see some dynos or I see some Haros and I go, those are bicycles. I go, man, I'm going to get that. And I go, nope, don't be stupid, asshole. You got bigger fish to fry. Anyways, it's fun to reminisce, huh, guys? Let's get it moving, huh? Let's get it moving. I seen, to talk a little NFL news, I seen that Chase Claypool, that wide receiver that was a rookie this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That poor guy got into a fist fight that was at a bar, probably like 8 guys on one side, 8 guys on the other side. Allegedly, he got into a fight. I don't even know if that was him, so I'm just going off of TMZ. TMZ, man, they will get every video. Like, they get every video. That's why I never understand why actors and actresses and people that come out of, like, clubs and stuff and TMZ, like, in L.A., and they're like, what up, you know, so-and-so, and they talk to them. Man, I would be like, fuck you, every time they come out. Because guess what? Yeah, they're being nice to you that day, but the very moment you have your worst moment in life, TMZ is going to throw money at somebody for that video or those pictures, and they're going to blast it around the internet and the world and the media, and they're just going to run you through the mud like they're going to run this Chase Claypool guy around. You know, first of all, he got into a bar fight. Looked like he allegedly kicked a guy when he was down right in his face. I mean, you can see the video. I mean, he gets it in there pretty good if you watch it a couple times. Yeah, dude, not good. I'm not laughing at that. It's just laughing at the whole thing of like how they got him on video where it's like, dude, they just got you at your worst. Why did you do that? You know, it sucks because this guy's a young guy, man. You know, he's a rookie wide receiver. I mean, how old is this guy? I mean, is he 20, 21, 22? Dude, you and I know when you're 21, 22, even years after that, and then even years down the road, people step in shit, okay? He stepped in shit that night. And to think that a young person is not going to step in shit, and especially a young guy that has money, and although he's still on a rookie contract, he probably made $600,000 last year, the guy's in some problems now, because now what's going to happen is the NFL is going to suspend him. He's going to get fined. Most likely that person that he kicked in the face, they know who he is now, and they're probably going to lawsuit up, and they're going to take some of that money out of his pocket, and they're going to put it in their pocket, because that's what they do. They have an empty bag, and then he has a bag full of money. So that's what the move's going to be. But, and also, you know, it's hard to even tell this because I get it. You only know what you know when you know it. That's how it always is until you learn and you go, I wish I would have known that then. But you only know what you know when you know it. And he is not a regular guy, okay? I know you're with your guys and your homies from like college and your friends or whoever you're hanging with now, but you know, they make their decisions, you make your decision, and you're not a regular guy, Chase Claypool, okay? You don't get down like that. But he's going to learn a lesson. Hopefully it's not, this is the only time he ever steps in shit, and he learns from that, and he grows from that as a human. But I don't know. I don't know if you want to go out and watch that video. I tell you, buddy, I wish you wouldn't have done that. Before I get out of here, I want to talk Stipe and Francis fight. That's the UFC fight that's coming up on Saturday. You know what? I'm not the hugest UFC fan, but I do watch the good fights for the last 5 years or so like that. You know, I'm a casual watcher. I can't go pound for pound on UFC like most, but, you know, I know some names and I know some fights. But, you know, it looks like... I don't know how you feel about this with Francis and Stipe, but I feel like the UFC wants Francis. I always say his name wrong, so I don't really say Francis Ngannou. I think that's the way you say it. But I feel like the UFC wants Francis Ngannou to be the champion, don't they? Like, dude. First of all, he looks he's perfectly built man. When you look at him, you go, my God, I wish I was built like that. Everything. I mean, everything. And and you think I feel like they want him to be the champion. But last time him and Stipe fought, which was, I don't know, maybe what was that? Maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 years ago. How time flies. I don't think it's that long, but it was something close to that. And Stipe just leaned on him, gassed him out, and then he beat Francis. All right. And then Stipe is an excellent champion. He's always been an excellent champion. He's always been a warrior. But for some reason, because Stipe's like a fireman, he's a plain Jane white guy. He's not really a peacocker. He doesn't really, the UFC, whether they admit it or not, they like guys that are peacocking. They like Nate Diaz in a fight going, not surprised, motherfucker, because then those videos go viral and people like that. People like hotshot fighters. That's why they like Conor McGregor. That's why they like Conor McGregor, whether they liked it or not, him throwing a freaking hand truck dolly at a bus and it's shattering, it's going in poor people's eyes and trying to ruin careers. They don't like that, but they like the headlines. They'll never admit it, okay? They will never admit it. They like him saying, who the fuck is this guy? They love that shit. So guys like Stipe, they don't really do that. They don't. I don't know if they don't have the gear. They don't want the gear. They're like men. They don't. There's no reason for all that foolery. But I don't know how Francis is. He's gonna be the same thing. But Francis looks like a movie star. Like Francis, when you look at him, you go, that guy is like the next Rock. That guy's like the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like that's. I mean, he could be. But you have this feeling that the UFC wants him to win, and we'll see, because if he throws fists with Stipe, most likely he is going to win, But if Stipe's smart, he ain't going to get to that point. But I guess you can only dictate fights as much as you want, and then life just comes into play. Guys, thank you for listening. I love everybody that's been listening to the podcast. Thank you so much. The numbers are going up more than ever. It just makes me so happy. I've been working on this podcast probably for 2 years now, and starting a podcast from zero, it's never easy, especially when you don't know what the hell you're doing. But guys, Bustin' Balls podcast on most social media platforms. Eric Pennell Comedy on some of those platforms. And if you do like the podcast, please share it. If you don't like the podcast, I totally understand. And just kick rocks and get the hell out of here. It's not for you and you're not for me. Guys, OW20 is my squirt. I hope everything goes well with you. Hope your life's well. And hope you're getting money. Everybody's healthy in your family. And you're getting laid left and right. Okay? Guys, thank you so much for listening.